Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. We have the situation in Bakhmut, still it continues. Russia retreated from one of the parts but pushing from another. So let's go closer to that city and let's go to the timeline first of all. So before I showed you this picture, they were very close to that lake, actually taking it, and today it's like that. They retreated from this part, not on their own, but we caused them to do so, but they pushed a little bit from this direction. So 2 days ago, today, still we continue to keep Bakhmut city under Ukrainian control, and they also start to push more a little bit here towards the Soledar. Soledar is very important as for the Bakhmut security, and it's 15 kilometers away from the city itself, and they want to get this part under their control and cross the river over here and move to the south to the city. I think everything will be more understandable on the tactical map, so let's go and review them. So yes, still two of the main vectors. One is from the south opposite direction, the other one is from this side, but they're also going through the road over here directly to the city center, and now they try to get Soledar on the north, but it's definitely far away, and also the city suburbs are quite populated there, at least they used to be, so there are lots of the buildings that our army may use as some kind of the shelter, and urban fights is not a good side of the Russian army. So now the picture is more or less okay for the Ukrainian side. We successfully defending the Bakhmut city, and yesterday I told you that the Bakhmut, if we speak about the strategy of the war, yes, if Russia would somehow capture Bakhmut, they will get just a tactical success in this particular area, but it will not change the strategy of the war. So they throw basically many forces to waste for the Bakhmut. And I read the comments that if you say that Bakhmut is not that important, so why Ukraine is keeping defending this city, why not to release the forces to fight in other places? My friends, we fight for our territories first of all, and we concentrate our forces in the areas where Russia attack the most. If we withdraw our forces from Bakhmut, Russia may go further and further. So we need to use our resource to protect our land. And the main thing that we are here in defense, so we cause the Russian army severe losses. It's the main thing for us to cause them losses at this stage, and then they will be exhausted. We're gonna go on a counterattack here as well. I understand that, and I'm waiting for it. This is the front line, the main one, my friends. All of the clashes now are happening here in Donbass area, so there is no any heavy fighting in Kherson region. Everything is concentrated here, and the Bakhmut is the main hotspot. And by protecting Bakhmut, we are keeping Russian forces away from Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. People are still living there, unlike in Bakhmut, where all of the civilians were evacuated or lost their lives, unfortunately. So we keep long distance till the front lines, and Russia may not use all of the artillery systems that they have to target Kramatorsk and Sloviansk. For example, standard Grad system they cannot use for that long distance. Speaking about Donetsk, Russia activated their attacks to take Novomikhailivka, were here unsuccessfully. Marinka they took partially, but still they want to go further, unsuccessful again. Pisky fighting continues, and here they tried to get Andriivka since the beginning of the war, and here is the border with self-proclaimed Republic of DPR, Donetsk People's Republic, and a simple defense line. I mean simple compared to what we have in Bakhmut, so it was capable to protect this town of Avdiivka, which is in a close proximity to Donetsk, and the Ukrainian army, I'm sure, is not gonna follow the Russian steps, so we need to exhaust the Russian army, and after that going to their defense lines. And Russians were able to build those across the Donetsk cities, so for us it will be also great loss if we just start our counterattack right away, taking the Donetsk city. No, the best scenario for us is for Russia itself to withdraw their forces from that city. So I think that it's better to encircle it and say go out. This is the north part in Kupiansk. Still Kharkiv region is under control by the Russian Federation. That small part of it, there are just a few of the villages, but Russia still controls the part of the Kharkiv region. I wonder how they didn't go to the referendum there. And you see they started their attack from the Svatove direction. However, our forces still keep our defense line over here. Not defense line, but the front line. I think will not build a huge defense line because natural obstacles like this river, some hills, help Ukraine to protect this area. The main thing that we cross across this big lake and a river, and we are controlling this side that will help us to advance to Svatove. So I do expect that we gonna take Svatove this winter. And yes, they also start their attack from the south part in the 95th Brigade, but they have plenty of room there, and 95th Brigade is very a reliable one. They're not gonna let Russians to go through this position. And this is the map itself. So as you can see, the fighting is just here on the eastern part, Donbass mostly, and in Kharkiv, Russia recently fired their artillery and they fired towards the residential buildings, unfortunately, so that's why we have this fire sign over there. But again, if we speak about the south, Kherson, Zaporizhia region, nothing is really happening over there. The main hotspot is this area near to Donetsk. Those are quite important for our defense, but even though if Russia would dare to take Bakhmut, they will take it temporary and without reaching the strategic goal of the Russian army. And actually Russian soldiers themselves, they are unaware of the real goal of the so-called special operation. So recently it was Igor Girkin who returned from the front lines, the guy who is responsible for the MH17 drowning, the Malaysian Boeing that was shot down by the Russians on the eastern part of Ukraine. So he went to the Russian army and he returned saying that he has a prediction that Russia will just collapse if they continue their useless war. So this guy, he says that the Minister of the Defense of the Russian Federation is a full idiot and greedy man who is in lack of the competence. It doesn't mean that this guy is saying no, he is responsible for the many massacres happen in Ukraine and also for drowning of MH17, and he will spend his lifetime in prison. I'm sure about it. And what he says that Russia should announce the massive mobilization again, and they should put some sort of the gulag repressions on the Russian soil to win this war. And actually that would destroy the Russia, I think, obviously. So Russia doesn't have the way out in this war. Well, the good way out for them, and I'm really happy that we are the part of the history. Ukrainians, we are on the front line of the history, and I think finally we should collect our forces, the forces of the democratic world, and make the final jump to attack Russia Federation, to make it collapse and not present the threat for the rest of the countries. Because throughout the Russian history, because of their imperialism, communism, and everything bad that happened to humanity, many millions of people died, including Russians. So I'm sure that we are not helping us, we are not helping our allies, we also help Russians. And the self-proclaimed leader of the Belarus annexed, that was annexed, I may say, by the Russian Federation already, because if you have the foreign military actively in your country, if you have the interconnected economy with your ally Russia, definitely it's just one more region of the Russia. So Belarus, I do not take it as a sovereign country with this leader. So new elections should be done, and Belarusian people should get rid of this guy with mustache. And what he says that Western countries or NATO were prepared to attack Belarus again, yeah, the same song, and also Russian territory from the eastern borders of the NATO countries. He said the cause of invasion should be Russia that captured other territories, the territories of the different country, but that really happened. And what's he saying? He's just clown. Awesome news again from America. Will have $275 million help agreed already. So additional ammunition for the HIMARS. That's great. Many more artillery rounds. And what is the most important here is the counter unmanned air systems equipment that we need the most, because Russia started to use the Shahed drones on Ukraine again. And counter air defense capability obviously will be increased. Humvees, approximately 150 generators. Those are not simple generators, those are the small power stations. And field equipment, we need everything, so thank you our allies for your support. President of Turkey Erdogan said that he is launching the new project of the gas supply, excluding Russia. So they will supply gas from Turkmenistan across the Turkish territory through the Balkans to European countries. Quite an interesting move, I would say, because before there was a negotiation with Turkey and Russia that they will increase the gas supplies from Russia through the Turkish territory, and now Turkey wants the total separate project, and they also, I think, will put Uzbekistan over here. There was the attempt between Kazakhstan, Russia and Uzbekistan to create some sort of the gas union, but at the final step Uzbekistan said bye-bye guys, we'll work with other suppliers. The Russian Orthodox Church comes to an end in Ukraine. Finally, I honestly do not understand why people go into the Moscow Patriarchy in Ukraine, since we have totally separated Ukrainian Orthodox Church that was officially recognized. And with the start of the full-scale war, we understood how big this network of the brainwashed people and those FSB priests who actually were working for the Russians. There were plenty of the cases with the pro-Russian propaganda conducted in the churches, and priests themselves, they took pictures and they basically tell about the people on the occupied territories who were pro-Ukrainian. So I actually hate that church, pro-Moscow church, because it was based on the FSB network, and it is based. And now Zelensky, President Zelensky, does everything he can to close that network. And finally, we're gonna get rid of the pro-Moscow church, and they have patriarch who served in the KGB, so it's just crazy. So for that church, there is no difference between Russians, Ukrainians. Their propaganda says that we should be one common country again. So those imperialistic stuff. Indian leader Modi to skip annual Putin summit over Ukrainian nuke threats. That's the article comes out from the Bloomberg. So at the end of the every year, there were meetings. There were mandatory between the Russian leader and Indian leaders every December. One was cancelled, I think, 2 years ago because of the COVID restrictions. And this time Modi cancelled it because Putin frightens the world with nuclear weapons. India doesn't like it. They're much more peaceful compared to Russia. No one needs nuclear wars around. And here we have the message from India to Russia that go away from Ukraine, finish this war, and then we're gonna talk with you. There was a big explosion today in one of the Moscow's trade centers, big malls. I would say so far we don't know about the casualties, but it was a huge fire. I published the full video on my Telegram channel, so you may check out the link in the video description and you can go and check out everything over there. Putin recently went on public with some of the statements, and now we got the information that Russia is preparing to change their nuclear doctrine, and they want to change it to use nukes first, to have that ability, because in their current doctrine they may use it only for protection, for defense. But as usual, I'm 99% sure that they will not use nuclear weapons in this war, because they will turn the world against them. Basically, it will destroy the Russia state more faster. And this guy, he's really afraid of his own life, and I don't think he will use nukes. Just recently, Ukraine attacked some military units in the Zaporizhia region using the rocket artillery systems. It means that we are preparing for the future counterattack. Just remember, the same thing happened in Kherson region before, so we use very actively the HIMARS systems, and here it's gonna be the same thing. Little by little we're gonna destroy the Russian supplies using the long hand of the rocket artillery, and after that we're gonna send our forces over there. Probably we're waiting for the reinforcements, I mean military units that are coming with the recent help to Ukraine from United States, and I expect that counterattack may start next month. Ukraine has ordered those 2 units of the air defense systems, Skynex, that's the name of those. 2 units will cost $182 million, I think, and those are German made by the company Rheinmetall, and unfortunately those will be delivered to Ukraine in 2 years, so in 2024, maybe in a year and a half. Those are very effective, even compared to Gepard air defense systems. Anyways, it's great. And Bulgaria joined the club. They are up to send first military aid to Ukraine. So before they actively help with Ukrainian refugees, they send humanitarian aid and refuse to send the military. And actually they may help a lot, because they have the Soviet-made weaponry still, and our guys know how to deal with that. But now, my friends, I think Ukrainian army knows how to deal with everything, because we have zoo of equipment in Ukrainian army, Western made, different countries, Australian, everything is in Ukraine. But still, in my wish list for this Christmas, I would like to see Leopards, Abrams, Patriots, F-16s, ATACMS. The Secretary of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, said that there is a huge risk that this war could go out of control and escalate to the war between Russian Federation and NATO countries. Yes, it may be like that. War is an uncontrollable thing, and we should expect unexpected. Morocco. Also, Morocco will give the spare parts to Ukraine for the T-72 tanks. My friends, even Morocco helps Ukraine. Awesome. Russia is providing Iran with the most modern weaponry that they have, air defense systems as S-400s and many other stuff, including airplanes. And as exchange, they have the Shahid drones to target power plants of Ukraine. Kind of strange exchange, I may say. And those are the American Abrams tanks that were sent to the place of the 101st Airborne Brigade that is located in Romania right now. And awesome reinforcement of that group, just in case Russia would dare to try to attack some of the NATO member country. Right, my friends, I'm gonna keep you updated on situation here in Ukraine. If you want to support this channel, just press the like button. If you want to support me financially, there are some links in the video description below for you to do so. You may support me on Patreon, PayPal, or Donatella, whichever is more convenient for you. Thank you so much for your awesome support. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are. Have a great time.